right, Nick, I'm gonna bring you on.
It's Choose Rich Live. It is Wednesday, August 26, 2026, and today I'm excited to have once again Alex Finn on the show. For those, he doesn't need an introduction. He's basically responsible, as he was saying beforehand, for literally all of Apple's Mac Mini and Mac Pro sales at this point in time. I don't know how much in market cap, Alex, do you think that you are responsible for Apple at this point in time?
Let's just say I've made a lot of people rich and they have not made me rich. So that's an issue. That's a problem. Apple, we have a problem.
There's a lot of people amongst Apple's staff that watches this show in particular. So, I mean, you're speaking to the right audience right now. They're paying attention. And, I think it is well-deserved at a minimum that they should send you basically all of the new products before they come out so that you can test them and make sure that it's compliant with the sheer volume of processing that you do at your own compute station, basically, that you've built out. It would make sense that they would make you, at a minimum, part of the early cohort. At a maximum, they probably should bring you on as a consultant, a paid consultant, making millions of dollars a year.
I mean, I don't think this is a cocky statement. I think this is a very fair and normal statement. Like, I think if you don't agree with this statement, I think you're a stupid human being. I'm the reason why all the marketing for Mac Studio and Mac Mini yesterday was around local AI. The entire video for Mac Studios and Mac Minis yesterday, AI, you could run local AI. There was not one peep of local AI in Apple marketing before my initial tweets earlier this year. Not a peep. So I influenced their entire market direction. I influenced everything. I can't get like a $5 million check, a $6 million check, right? Like, at least give me the 512 gigabyte before it comes out in a month.
I could not agree in a more substantive way than I currently do. Like, I genuinely may even call their team just to put in a word, because it is kind of offensive, basically, that you didn't receive it. In all seriousness, what I will say is you were basically the bullhorn, the person that people were frankly laughing at when you were talking, when OpenClaw came out and they're like, well, so what? Like, what can it do, basically? And you stayed strong through that entire, despite everyone being like, look at this guy full of shit, blah, blah, blah. Literally, AI has caught up on the development side. A lot of the stuff that you were saying, where frankly, when you were vibe coding and all this, like, early on, you were early to vibe coding before OpenClaw, basically, where you were like, this is the future of it. And honestly, I would even have called myself a partial skeptic at that early phase when you were vibe coding, in the sense that I was like, is it really, truly, can he really produce legitimate products? I don't write code anymore, but I produce products that I think many will reflect back on as being some of the greatest software ever written. And you basically had seen the path, had seen that taking place. And I think you actually occupy a space legitimately. There's I watch a lot of the engineers on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm sure you watch like Theo, and you watch the guy who has who's the guy with the popular GitHub repo, Matt Kopic or whatever his name is, Pocock. Yeah, Matt Pocock. So those two guys are very centered around what I would call traditional engineering side of things. Theo is like, I mean, just a hardcore skeptic and of everything, basically. That is his role in the market. Matt Pocock seems like a nice guy who essentially is a legitimate engineer who's walking you through this transition. He's holding your hand as an engineer into the new world. You occupy another space, which is basically, I would say, someone who was, I don't know if your job was technically sales engineer, but essentially you occupied a engineering parallel, tangential, friendly associate basically of engineers, but you weren't the developer basically, and now you're at the forefront. What I would say is basically AI is moving up the ladder to enable more and more people to have access to these tools, and you're at the hot zone right now of what that space is, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I was a sales engineer, and then I led a team of sales engineers at MongoDB before I quit to do all this. And, I was able to see kind of how people use this tech. That was my job. See how people use it, then give them solutions to use it better. And I think it translates very nicely to everything going on now and why it was so easy to transition to kind of content, because it's like, this game, and a lot of people had the same challenge as you, which is they go, Cursor comes out with Sonnet 3.5 and they go, oh, this code sucks. It's not writing good code. This is nothing. And then OpenClaw comes out and it's like shaky and it's crashing. And it's like, people, you need to understand, and this is the challenge you had, which it seems like you might have shifted. It's like, it's not about what it is. It's not about what it's doing right now. It's about the slope. It's about where it's going. What does this look like if it actually works? What does this look like if it gets 10 times better? Right? And that's where I think people are struggling, is they see like OpenClaw come out and they're like, oh, it's crashing. This is useless. Get rid of it. It's like, okay, but what if it wasn't? Right? Obviously, this isn't like, I make the comparison all the time. It's like, this isn't like cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers are solved. There's not going to be any restaurant that comes out and then they have like a revolutionary cheeseburger. This is a technology that's rapidly improving, that's getting legitimately 10 times better every 6 months, I think people would say. So it's not about what it's doing now. You need to have foresight. Okay, if this was 10 times better in 6 months, what would this look like? It's same with the Mac Studio. The Mac Studio comes out, I buy it, I run like a local model on it. It's incredible. It's slow as shit, right? Like it's absolutely barbarically slow. But it's like, okay, what if this was not slow? Like, what if this was really fast? And everyone on Twitter, all like the local nerd, like the local AI nerds, like the local AI community on Twitter is significantly more toxic than the crypto Twitter community.
Really?
Like, yeah, like if you were to rank like toxicity, it's like local AI the most toxic, crypto just like right behind that. Either way, they were all like, this guy's such a LARPer. He's such a loser. He's buying. Why is he buying Macs? You don't buy Macs. You got to buy $18,000 NVIDIA chips and chain them all together in your basement and buy an entire coolant system. And it's like, yeah, it's slow. Of course it's slow. But what happens when the M5 Ultra comes out in a few months and it's like 10 times faster? Then it's incredible. And then what happened yesterday? M5 Ultra comes out and it's 10 times. So I think that's where like people struggle. Like if you want to really understand what to use and everything happen, you can't think, okay, what is it doing right now? You have to think, okay, if this was 10 times better, what would this look like? And that's going to help you understand where this is going in like a year.
1,000%. And watching you honestly has given me, I think, when you're in the development space, it's hard sometimes. There's a culture of cynicism that exists there, but I think there's also just this thing where basically a lot of the people who went through the process, and I'll use Linux as an example since you were just tweeting about the Linux, Hamachi, is that what it's called? And then there's Omachi, sorry. And then there's Hamachi's great fish though, but and then I'd watched a YouTube before you had actually published yours of a guy who actually went through the process of installing Omachi on his computer. I'm blanking on the guy's name. I ended up in like sort of hardware land on YouTube basically. And the guy also had just gotten one of the same laptops that you have. And I was thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, AI solves all those problems that used to exist. But the culture that exists is people really cut their teeth on, and I put Theo into this category basically, where that guy spent a ton of time customizing his terminal, years in fact, to get to a point. And I think what happens is there's this defensiveness that happens because it's a weird thing to do. Like it's not normal. The average person is not going and customizing their terminal. You have to be an uber geek in order to be in that place where you're doing that work. And then somebody like you comes around and says, I can do all of these magical things basically. And the cynicism that existed from a lot of these people is hard because they're stuck in that place where they existed for years, that they invested their time. And the further that you get down the software development curve, the farther that you get where it was about like keyboard customization, and it's about your entire identity becomes built around the device basically. I think they've learned how to speak computer, and now the language of computer is just English. It's using AI. It's the AI ends up running the whole thing, and you don't have to think about all of that. So I can empathize in some way where those people are coming from. I think what I've learned over the past 12 months is they are horribly wrong, and they're preventing themselves from adapting the next curve. And a lot of people, that happens every single wave. There's people who get stuck in the place that they're at, and then a wave passes them completely by, basically. And I think engineers are in that space right now where there's a lot of people where it's like, holy shit, I literally do not write code at this moment in time. I sometimes still review my code, and I take pride in some of these things, but it's like, developing has more to do with like, what are the new frameworks and guardrails that you've set up for your agents to make sure that they don't make those mistakes? It's just a completely new world that we live in right now. And I think, you were able to basically, you were an early adopter, and you've been a voice for that, I think.
It gets extra amplified when content gets involved, right? So like it's one thing where, yes, there's a lot of gatekeepers in tech where they get stuck in their ways and then they get upset when it gets disrupted. But it goes to a whole new level when content gets involved, because now their careers, like their image, their self-worth is now steeped in whatever that way of living is. For instance, one of the local AI guys who's like the most, he looks like a Reddit mod. I literally forget his name, Osman or something. He looks like a Reddit mod. And he was like he was like really, really nice to me when I started getting into local AI. And then the whole Apple narrative started taking off. And then he just started flaming me. Like he went from DMing me like, let's do podcasts, let's hang out, I'll fly to you, to I hate you, you're a con artist. And like what happens is like, these content creators get stuck in their ways where like they make their entire image and their entire brand on that one thing. I think his was like NVIDIA chips. He spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars on NVIDIA chips and chaining them all together. And he has like his entire basement is chips.
I think I've watched that guy. Yeah.
And then I get a Mac Studio and I'm like, yeah, you don't need any of that. You can just like buy a Mac Mini and then like just do that instead of all of that. And then these people, they're like, oh no, like they find that they have to defend themselves, and really what they're doing is they're just trying to like defend their existence and the point of their existence. Because if it turns out you don't need to buy $500,000 of NVIDIA chips chained up in your basement, then what's the point of any of your content? No one's going to listen to you anymore. So like, the people who make their lives on customizing their terminal, when it turns out using your terminal is stupid and normal people don't want to do that, your entire existence doesn't make any sense. And so there's just so many, like, I'm sure you've seen it in crypto a ton too. It's just like these content gatekeepers, they can't be flexible. Like I love Primogen. I think he's the best tech live streamer out there. I don't know if you ever watched him, but like he's made his content on manual coding. Like he's a coder, like he's a dev's dev, right? And so he's been very slow to get to AI. He only admitted like 2 weeks ago he started using AI to code after all this time. And it's like, it's great, but if you want to, the beauty of not being steeped in your ways, if there's other content creators watching this, is like, if you're able to be dynamic and change as technology evolves, you'll never run out of things to talk about. You'll never run out of content. It's actually much easier to make content if you are nimble and can change as things evolve, because things will always evolve. But if you find your one thing, and like, it was like, I used to make content on the X algorithm, and there's still like these really lame accounts that like kind of copied that and are still doing that like years later. It's like all they talk about. It's like people get bored of that. It's boring. It's not fun for you. It's not fun for your readers. You got to evolve. And then, there'll be the naysayers that go, oh, you're a LARPer, or you were talking about this before, now you're talking about this. It's like, yeah, that's how the world works. Things evolve, things get better, and you talk about the new things.
I could not agree more. You've adapted very well, and I mean, yeah, you've gone through many lives of your content journey, I would say. Let's do a real quick, Ray. I think what we should do is a super rapid fire. There's 5 stories here, and then I want to discuss some of the stuff, including. I want to make sure that we're on time here. How much you have till 1 or till 12?
I have half hour.
Okay, cool. So we'll rapid fire through this, and then I want to talk about Grokbot. I want to talk about the new Mac Studio and a couple of other things. Maybe actually, Ray, what do you think? Should we just actually dive into that conversation, or are any of these stories worth doing? Ray has no thoughts. Can't hear him.
Ray.
I was muted. That's on me. I don't think
God
anything.
Damn it, Ray. No, I'm
I
just
don't
kidding.
think anything here is like super. Maybe just the first one, just because Nvidia has earnings today, and that's market moving. The rest of them are
Okay. We'll run through it. All right. You want to pull up the first one? Actually, no. Yeah. I guess that is what it is. We'll run through these real quick. You can chime in, and then we'll dive back into the conversation. Semi-analysis says OpenAI's first custom chip jalapeno beat NVIDIA's Blackwell kablam on performance per watt in nearly every tested scenario, delivering 1.5 to 1.9 times more AI work per watt. NVIDIA sits near $212 a share and 5.7 trillion market cap heading into earnings today. Ray, what was this? What was the impact on the stock for NVIDIA after this news dropped?
Hey, we're down 1.3% on the day. I can't attribute necessarily this news to the drop.
Holy shit.
Earnings fears.
Semi-analysis just destroyed NVIDIA. Alex, what's your hot take on this right now?
Unfortunately, I don't think there's anything going to be hot about this take I have. So I did a little reading on it. It turns out that these chips are just for inference, right? So you're not going to use them to do any sort of training or anything like that. It's just purely for serving their models. So it's not really eating NVIDIA's lunch. Like NVIDIA obviously has market in that, but they're not like killing NVIDIA. And even in the press release, they said, "Oh, we're partnering with NVIDIA on all these other things to kind of make sure they don't piss off like one of their biggest investors." I think the interesting part about all this, like, I don't think this is a huge disruptive event for any companies. I think it's good for OpenAI, who I'm very bullish on. I think more than most. I think it's like cool to like hate on OpenAI, and it's not just because they invited me to their office like a week ago. I've been very bullish on them for a long time. They made early bets on compute, and it turns out those bets were fantastic bets because I think they've passed Anthropic in almost every way at this point. And Anthropic hasn't released anything in like 4 months, although the rumor is Fable 5.1's coming this morning. Point being, get to my original point. I think the interesting part of this story is they said Astra, their new model, is actually like the biggest reason this chip happened, where like Astra was basically their like lead autonomous researcher on this and helped develop the entire thing. And then they came out, I might be spoiling a story coming up in a second here. And then they said like, yeah, it is. Okay, so I won't say it. But yeah, I think that's the most interesting part. Astra.
Wait, you can say it.
No, yeah, it's not a story. I was just reading your mind.
So yeah, you were reading. Basically, they said Astra's AGI. It's coming in the next few months, and like it helped develop this chip, which like it came up with like a whole bunch of new scientific breakthroughs that never existed before. So I think that's significantly more interesting than like OpenAI competing with like 10% of NVIDIA's business.
And is Astra produced by OpenAI?
Yeah, that's their new model. That's like GPT-6.
Wow. Okay. GBT. I love that you were on the OpenAI stream, literally saying GBT, and I was like, dude, this is incredible. No one in the comments on X actually said anything. I was watching that video. I was like, all right, I got to go back and watch this. But that is.
I don't know. Am I saying something wrong?
No, not at all. Chat GBT. The next, that's pretty exciting. I'm excited to see Astra, and I completely agree. Actually, I'll throw in one thing. So we were going back and forth. One thing that I'll say is the development experience. So how you operate remotely, Claude is different than the way that OpenAI has set it up with ChatGPT. Basically, that Codex, or what's now just ChatGPT, that software itself, their remote functionality is a little bit lacking. Whereas when I was checking out with Claude, Easy was the one that got me on this, because he's like, bro, I'm like on the farm setting up stuff with the horse, and I'm basically dictating to build this product. And I was like, okay, dude, like
He's now a farm and horse guy.
Oh, he owns a farm. They have like 70 animals now. It's kind of crazy, dude.
They have 70 animals. Are they still in Florida?
Most of them are chickens. Yeah, they're Florida. But not in Miami. But yeah, he has. He's on the West Coast side of things. And yeah, they have horses. They have 3 large horses, 2 small horses. They have don't tell the authorities. They have ducks. Apparently, you need approval for ducks. They have chickens.
I want ducks. I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, they got 2 or 3 new cats that had been thrown out. They're randomly the other day, they were driving down the street and some goats had gotten loose from someone. So they chased down the goats, put it in Easy's truck, and then he's showing me in the farm what do you call the thing that stores the horses? I forget what why am I blanking on that?
Barn?
A barn. There you go. In the barn, they have 2 of the goats sitting there, basically keeping them away from the other goats, because there's going to be beef if the new goats come in. And I was like, dude, you guys just take on obligations like there's no tomorrow. But he's the one that got me on the remote coding thing, and I've been now defaulting to it. I know that the gentleman at OpenAI, the founder, Peter, who founded OpenClaw, has done a lot of talking, and so did the guy at why I'm blanking on his name, from Claude, who created Claude Code. Both of them had basically been talking about like their mobile development process, and I was just like delayed on that whole thing. Anyways, you talk about this a lot with Codex or ChatGPT, but you actually call up you have the video of you doing the walks and everything else, and I think it really is. That is where all of it is headed, because it just goes and does the work. I go have a conversation and then I review it. I actually have my own preview branch process. I think I texted you about that the other day. And getting that set up properly is key. But anyways, that was a long rant of saying I prefer Claude Code's remote functionality right now, because it just dynamically makes the cloud repo, it spawns it automatically without you doing anything, whereas ChatGPT requires me to like configure the cloud environment for like a given repo. I don't know. I was just running into that issue.
Well, it seems like you do more cloud stuff than me, because I have my main Mac Studio, which I'm doing this stream on, and I basically use that as like my cloud
remote code, which is what I do now.
When I do, voice on my phone, when I'm sitting outside on my iPad, when I'm on my Linux box, I basically just use remote on everything and have it all write the code locally on my Mac Studio. So I'm not really using cloud agents, although I'm slowly getting cloud agent pilled because of Grokbot. I just have everything. I use remote on ChatGPT to have everything just happen on the one device. Which I think their remote functionality is just more reliable for my workflow than Claude. Like Claude, I'm on the go, I open up the Claude app and it's like none of my computers are showing up and it's like, oh, run remote. It's like, I've done this 20 times. What are we doing here? So I like ChatGPT for that.
I've switched to that now. So I go back and forth. I use the remote thing on ChatGPT, and then I use Claude. I use their cloud thing, and then Grok, I've started doing the Claude stuff, or the cloud stuff. We'll discuss that in 1 minute. I'm gonna real quick run into this next story, which appears to be really uplifting, Ray. Meta agreed to pay up to $16.68 billion to settle claims from 29 states that Facebook and Instagram were designed to addict children. Meta denied wrongdoing and will add daily usage limits plus nighttime restrictions for minors. Holy shit. I mean, that's a pretty big settlement. How big was the tobacco settlement before? I don't know how.
I probably not as big as that.
I mean, that's like a pretty big.
Participating
No,
manufacturers agreed to pay over 206 billion over 25
yeah,
years in
yeah.
the
So
1998 tobacco settlement.
okay, so on an annualized basis, this one is more. But wow, okay, I didn't real the fact that they're settling a lawsuit saying they were designed to addict children is a pretty wild claim, and the fact that they would settle it almost like kind of implies some degree of guilt. Neither of us have children, or you do, Ray.
I do. That is up on the day on the news. 1%.
I mean, okay, great news.
Good for the stakeholders.
Yeah, exactly.
$17 billion.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I'm just gonna dive into the next one. Over in China, ZAI confirmed it built OX Alpha, the stealth model that topped OpenRouter's leaderboard in 6 days and more than doubled DeepSeek's usage. It's a new iteration of the GLM series, and the weights go public tonight. Have you been using this model at all?
I tried it, and like I get that like everyone on X is like tweeting it's the greatest thing ever and better than all the other models. But my test showed it was good. It didn't show it was like any more intelligent than other models. I didn't like from my tests. It seemed to overthink some things. It seemed to underthink some things. I just didn't find it that reliable a model. Like I thought it was good. I thought it was up there with the Frontier, but I don't think it passed in the Frontier. And everyone was tweeting like it was the greatest thing ever. And then it turns out just like 5.3 Flash, and it's like people were hyping a Flash model is better than the regular model. Like it's good. It's good, but and I'm loading it on my Mac Studio as we speak. But I don't understand all the hype that was around it.
Yeah, I didn't even test it. What I will say is I love the test harness framework that you set up that you've been using to test different models. Phenomenal.
World famous benchmark.
Yeah, what's that?
The Alex Finn world famous benchmark.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, great job. As much as I think it should become a standard alongside the final payout that you get from Apple, we should be incorporating the benchmark. I mean, let's be honest, the Pelican on a bike framework, that was getting a little too much credit, like at some point, you know? It's still legitimate. I mean, that guy's Simon Willison is wildly intelligent and does a phenomenal job, but you have a multimodal approach to it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. I think there has to be balance. Like when I show all these tests, they're like, "Oh, but this is not what people are doing. This is too simplistic." And it's like, but yeah, I'm not going to run a benchmark where I take a month to build a piece of software with every model that comes out. So it needs to be somewhere in the middle. But yeah, I spent a bunch of time trying to develop, like trying to find that middle ground. What's a middle ground where like a benchmark isn't just like one shot, build me a Pelican on a bike, but it's also not like spend a month building something. And so I actually worked with Fable. I think Fable right now is the smartest model. And like we came up with some tests that were like open up a random open source repository online and then find 10 bugs in it and things like that. And yeah, so I think everyone should kind of have their own benchmarking harness that they trust so they can quickly see if these models are for them when they come out, rather than all the tweets are just like, this is the best one. It just clearly wasn't.
Dude, it's pretty incredible, actually, as I'm sitting here thinking about it. It reminds me very much of early computer days with like basically 386 and 486 and each of these things. You had PC versus Mac. You had all these different sort of kind of decisions that people made where they were like, I'm going to use this or I'm going to use that. Obviously, a model is way easier to sort of swap between. So it's not, the switching cost is incredibly low, but you do become kind of set in your ways. Where I feel like I become most set in my ways, and it sounds like you do too, is with the particular interface that you're using these models with. Like if you're using codex to code, which I'm still just going to keep calling codex.
I do too.
And then, or if you're using Claude Code, or if you're using something else. I actually, maybe we can discuss this real quick, the Grok bot side of things. And I saw a comment. I don't want to throw you under the bus with this one
Do
thing.
it.
There was one thing that you said on your show. You got in a fight with some of the commenters. Maybe it was a live or something where you were talking about, they were
The
saying that
computer?
yes, whether or not it's the
Who gives a
same one
fuck?
or a different one.
Who cares? The fuck doesn't matter. Oh, Alex Finn said that each bomb has their own computer. First of all, you're clearly that exposes you as a LARPer. You're a LARPer because
Okay.
they're not all
I
different
guess that's
computers. They're actually they're different virtual desktops. They're not the same. Who cares? Who cares? They're different virtual desktops. Okay, so who cares? What does it matter? Like I said, they're different computers. Like it just
Oh, is
it's
that
the
what the line
craziest
was?
thing.
Got it.
Yeah, like there's legitimately like other AI creators who made entire videos being like, Alex Finn has no idea what he's talking about. He said each agent has its own computer. It's not its own computer. You are
Dude,
wrong, Alex Finn.
congratulations. That
I mean, but it's just like it's just so weird how many gatekeepers and jealous and weird people like what does it matter if it's one computer, like multiple virtual desktops? Who cares? I don't. There's just so many straw men on the internet who will like look for the one little tiny thing you didn't say perfectly right, and then
Yeah.
like make that a talking point for days and days and days that you said that one thing wrong. Who cares? Okay, each agent has their own virtual desktop. Okay, fine. I admit defeat.
He's waving the white flag. No,
You have one.
what I've been exploring with that is I have it do all sorts of things, like it monitoring a website. For example, I mean, this is pretty stupid. I get like subscription water, for example, and one of the annoying things, Coca-Cola, I think, owns the company that sends the Perrier water bottle subscription, and it's this thing that I have to check in and make sure that I've deferred it because I have too much water now. They've dropped off too many of these boxes of water, basically. So I'm like, okay, like go in, log in and do it. But now I have the agent go do it. My question, so you're using Grokbot now. Let's first start
Love
at the
it.
top. What have you fully transitioned to it from all of your OpenClaw stuff? Hermes, I
90%
should
the
say.
way there. 90% the way there. You know, there's nothing Grokbot can do that the others can't do. Every other Hermes can do everything Grokbot can do. ChatGPT, everything Grokbot can do. Claude Code, everything Grokbot can do. But what they did was they basically unhobbled the entire AI agent experience, where everything just becomes much more simple, pleasant to use, joyful to use, and easy to kind of understand what's going on. Right? ChatGPT, Hermes, OpenClaw, they basically said, hey, do whatever we're going to give you this ultimate tool, do anything you want with it, use it any way you want. And I think the issue for most people is that when you give them kind of a blank canvas to do things, they kind of get stuck and don't end up painting anything whatsoever. But what they did with Grokbot was they made a very opinionated experience when it came to AI agents. They made a lot of decisions around, we're going to go multi-agent first, we're going to go cloud first, we're going to go agents talking to each other first. By default, they think, okay, which other agent can I talk to get context here? And because they got opinion around the model, there's no model picker. You use the latest Grok model. And because of all those opinionated decisions they made, I just think it's much more of a pleasant experience, efficient experience, and better experience overall than the other agents. I mean, I think that this is something they're all going to copy very soon. I think for some of them, it'll be a mistake copying it. Some of them, it'll be a good decision. But, you know, again, nothing it does different than anyone else. It just does it in a very opinionated way, which for me, I think has been an amazing experience. I think it's been a much more pleasant experience. So I've been kind of daily driving that for the last couple weeks.
I've been using it as well. I watched, or I scrolled through, you know, when you made your video outlining your approach to using Grokbot and the different different team members that you have. I do something similar for a lot of it. I have one who's an inbox person who's going through my inbox. But what I've started setting up, and I'm curious if you've done, well, I said one of my opinions before we hopped on the show, which I'm curious about. You had, like, for example, a development agent, and I switched like had this realization the other day. So I have one agent whose job is to find me activities that are happening this weekend in Miami. And I want it to always like be out there researching, coming up with ideas, doing this as much as possible. And there's two opinions that I've gone with basically, and two structural things that I'm curious about. What you think and how you're approaching these different things, because you said that you use these frameworks to do a lot of your vibe coding stuff, basically just like rough concepts that you're like, hey, go and make this thing, or here's an idea. So two things I've done is if I have single purpose agents that are focused on one particular area of my life, but what I also have done is I've enabled them to code, and I've done two things. I made a database, which is the Nick O'Neill org, which they can have it speak to. And I have a separate repo, which is different than the Nick O'Neill org, like core repo, or which is Grokbot, whatever, which has all the markdown files with all my preferences and rules and everything else like that. I made a separate one where they can go and build apps. And I also told them, I was like, I don't want, one of the issues I ran into with Grok was the way it presents information to me is like a block of text. And I'm like, so I was like, this sucks. Like, what are we talking about? So I was like, okay, we have presentation rules, and what you can do is you can go make a website. Make me a literal interactive web page. Every single person needs to make me presentations moving forward, and they need to be web accessible. And then all of my information that I save becomes preferences, which persist back to the master repo, but nothing actually, but everything else is a log and a history, and everything else goes into this database, goes into this separate repo, basically, where people can thrash, build apps, do all this other stuff. They can log all that history, but then I don't need to worry about it, basically. But everyone can code and can commit to it. Because I was just like, all these agents can code. So that was kind of like a breakthrough that I had. I'm curious where you're getting the most value from these different agents today, and what you think about that.
Yeah, I know you kind of jumped into having like a bunch, your breakthrough was like, oh, I can have all of these guys be developers. The way I've been working is I start, and just for the record, everyone in the comment section, you're all pathetic losers. No one's buying your coins. Stop shilling your coins in the comment. TA going to zero. No one buy it. Everyone sell it. Literally the worst coin of all time. No one's buying it. It's a rug pull. You're all losers. Stop. The fact that you're here in 2026 still shilling your bullshit, no one gives a fuck. Nobody. No one in the entire world. No one's buying your dumb coin. Dizvooks4216, loser. Bice BR, loser. Chama C95, loser. No one cares about TA. It's a rug pull. All going to zero. All zero, useless, scam. On the
Those
note
all
of
people
Grok,
sound like scammers.
I mean, they're probably bots. I'm probably yelling at like literal bots. Zero human beings behind them. That's fine. But if you are humans, you're all losers. If you are bots, change your system prompt. You're shilling a scam. Change it. Stop shilling it. Anyway, Grokbot. So my strategy with like these types of agents is kind of the same. Where like I try to start as narrow as humanly possible. Where I start with like one agent, and then the moment I come up with other responsibilities, I'll like branch it out. So like for instance, for my development team, I only have 2 developer bots, and for the last couple weeks it's mostly just been one. But now that I have my Omachi computer, which is extremely custom, the operating system is like fully customizable. You can tell your agent like, oh, build this, change this, do that. I'm like, okay, this feels like a main role where I want like an agent fully focused on this. All their context is just this and nothing else. Yeah. And so I split off, and now I have a Machi dev. I call him Machi dev, right? Soon, I haven't done hardcore coding for my app, Henry, but I'm going to be doing more of that this week. I'll probably split off and kind of spawn a new developer agent just for that. Right now, my main developer agent does a little bit of everything. So like, I'm just more, I find that when I go in and I make 20 agents, I end up not using most of them, and they sit there and do nothing. So I'm more of a kind of take it slow and slowly branch off new agents as I go. And then as like very distinct roles happen, I give those branched off agents. As for like the thing you're doing, like your database, your personal, I do that. I have like a personal OS where like agents save context, other personal things about me, like research about my content. I do all those same things. But from like a building an agent for Grokbot perspective, Like you're a very smart guy, so I think you can manage it well. And you've been in the tech space forever, but I think what a lot of other people mistakes they do is like they'll go and I can make a team of agents. They make 100 agents, and it's like
Oh yeah.
my product marketing agent, my this. And I think you should just start small, and as you think of new things to automate, new tasks, new roles, you just kind of slowly branch off and create new agents from there.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of agents. I basically have an inbox agent, and I have I have the main one, the CEO agent, basically, as you called it. Although mine's chief of staff, whatever. And there's one other which is doing the weekend activity stuff. I don't think that I have any other core Grok bots at this moment. Maybe one is a calendar one. I'm not even sure. I'd have to go take a look.
What about that one you said that was scrolling Tinder for you automatically?
Oh yeah, thank you. For bringing that one up, Ray, and putting that out.
Is there I tried to cut you off. Is there a bigger lie in the history of mankind than what Bull Theory is putting in your comment section right now, which is his shitcoin, TA, is a nonprofit organization and all fees are being donated to kids in America? Spoiler alert for everyone in the chat, not a single penny of that useless scam is going to a single kid. He is lying to your face and he's going to hell because he's telling you his scam coin is going to kids. Spoiler alert, not a single penny from that scam's going to kids. Sorry to cut you off. I couldn't believe I was reading that chat in the message.
I will say the website looks pretty good.
You can vibe to it.
I dove into it too, and my hang up is I'm not putting my kids' information in there so that they can send them some fees. You have to give them their Trump account information.
Are you serious?
It's like double scam. Who's doing that?
Every fee goes to Trump accounts? No, they're not. There's not a single penny from this scam going to a single Trump account. I don't even think you can, that's not how Trump accounts work, where you can just start coins and they just put them in. That's not how it works.
Yeah. You got to go in 3 minutes.
Sorry for being rude. I just couldn't believe what I was reading.
The last thing before you leave, I guess. So you already bought the full Max to Max Studio?
The new one? No, I didn't do that because I don't see the ROI. I have 3 512 gigabyte Mac Studios. I don't see the ROI of me spending like $15,000 to get another one that's just slightly faster than the other one. So I'm fine with my slower speed. I don't care.
I can appreciate that. I went through the process of just building out a thing, and then I'm like, I'm not spending this money right now. It's just not necessary. My Mac Mini works pretty damn well. I thought about the new Mac Mini, basically, which is kind of insane how good those computers are getting. And I'm just like, dude, these are like, this is like good enough. Like the thing freaking works, basically. I did consider the laptop, though, that you're getting with Linux. Actually, maybe that's the last thing real quick.
Framework?
Yeah.
It's sick. I'm getting it soon. They moved me up to like the next batch. I'm pumped. But that's kind of my new obsession lately is Linux. So DHH, who's a very famous developer for those who don't know, built this operating system, Omachi, which is really, really cool. It's like built for development. It's built for like AI, all the harnesses are built into it. But I kind of had this awakening moment, which every time I've had this awakening moment in the past couple years, it's like it started. Like I had the awakening moment with the Mac Studio, awakening moment with Cursor, awakening moment with a lot of different things. Every one of them's led to like massive trends. Not to say that I'm like a genius, but I am kind of a genius. And I had this moment using it where I'm using this open source operating system. Every time something about it pisses me off, like I didn't like the way Windows resized in it. I just went to my Hermes agent. I'm like, hey, can you like change the way the Windows resize in this operating system? I hit enter. 30 seconds later, they resized the exact way I wanted them to resize. And I kind of had this awakening moment where I'm like, this is the future of interacting with computers, where everything down to the operating system level is open source and customizable and changes and morphs based on the context of whatever it is you're doing. And Mac OS and Windows OS just don't fit into that picture. And like, this is what the people are going to want. Like, imagine a world where you have an open source LLM powering an open source agent harness that's sitting on your open source operating system. At that point, literally everything you do and interact when it comes to intelligence and computers it customizes and morphs around whatever your needs are for that day. And so I immediately went out and bought like the framework laptop, which you don't need a $3,000 laptop to do this. You can like literally pull out a shitty laptop from your closet. I just
Mhm.
like to have fun and spend money on. I like to look for excuses to buy tech. But now I'm going to be kind of daily driving this because I think this is the future. I think there's something here where everything in your entire stack is open source and customizable. And all you need to do is just like say a thought out loud
Yeah.
and your compute experience transforms around that. I think that's really, really interesting.
I I absolutely love that. I think you're going to be spending a lot of time customizing it at the moment. That's the one thing I'm like, do I want to go down this rabbit hole?
It's
I do
fun.
want to go. I want to go down the rabbit hole, but I'm like, is this
It's
like, am I
fun.
gonna? Yeah.
You're gonna have fun. And I think it's clear the future. Like it'd be one thing just to like go and play Grand Theft Auto because it's fun, but you're not
Yeah.
really doing anything. It's another thing to do something that I think is just kind of ahead of the curve, and you kind of see where the world is going, and
Yeah.
maybe you end up inventing an agentic OS that you fork off of Omachi, and you
Yeah.
release yourself and like you have something big. So I think there's something there, and that's why I think it's worth playing around with.
Dude, I love it. I appreciate having you on. We'll have to dive into some more of these things. I got to have you back
Let's do it again
periodically, man.
soon.
Yeah. Thanks for joining. Shout out to Alex for coming on the show. Dude, I'm so excited about some of the stuff mentioned, including the Omachi. I'm going to have to test out. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but just having a conversation with Alex makes me excited. And I think that genuinely what he's talking about is the future of compute. I mean, this is where we're headed with all of this. So it's very exciting times. I'm going to be, I'm going to end up fucking doing it. I think he's completely right. I bought a Nintendo the other day and then I was sitting there. I spent hundreds of dollars on games, played them each for about 5 minutes and was like, this is cool. Now I'm back to doing my AI stuff. And I like building software and building, like tinkering with things and building stuff. And it's just like, why would I go and play the video game when I can go and build something? And I think what he's saying, I don't know if it's like operating on the computer, but I think having a place where you can go and get that configured makes a ton of sense. Have you considered doing Linux, Ray?
My always on AI box is Linux,
Is it?
but I never interface with it. It's not even hooked up to a monitor. It's just hanging out. I just find it's just better and more reliable than using Windows.
For doing what?
So it runs like a lot of crons that do different like tasks, triaging Slack, Telegram, our internal systems. Also does like market stuff where it's like looking for news, all kinds of different things there. It actually handles the call sheet for the show on its local model versus using the API. So I can put it towards Claude Max as opposed to using APIs that way. So I use it
What's
for like,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I think that's pretty much covered most of the use cases there.
It makes me just wonder what sort of computer I should get because like using a laptop is, well, I guess you can use a laptop like a server basically in the same way. I don't know what the impact is, but at least you can come and you immediately have a terminal essentially where you can go operate with it. So I think having a laptop that you can operate from makes a ton of sense. And the fact that you can like stash it away in a corner, but if you need to like connect the server, you can like go and like open it up, interact with it, and now you have that ability. Maybe that does make it the best. I just wonder like whether or not the fans are designed to have it with like the screen closed. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. There's just small things like that, which I guess it doesn't really matter. But it makes me want to literally go and buy a like Dell laptop right now to just run all of that stuff and test it out.
Yeah, laptop's cool. I mean, the thing I got wasn't expensive. It's not like super crazy. It's $800. This is just like a Windows like box I just flash with
Mm-hmm.
Linux. So
Hey, real quick, you know what we should do before we wrap? We should do the just take a look at the charts real quick to see where we're at, and I'm gonna give my thoughts on this basically.
you want to drive?
Yeah, I just shared my screen. So, well, a couple of things. One, let me go back to my like wildly noisy version of the chart. We are so far off my, sorry, hold on. How do I go back to, I don't know which one had the original fractals. Oh, I lost them. They're on some other chart somewhere. Let's try BC. Here you go. Look how far we went off my fucking fractal thing, dude. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, this looks crazy. The one thing I'll put in, which is just really the frustrating thing with this chart right now, is just BTC did not have a higher high. It had a lower high, and that's like super frustrating. We also have this what looks close to like a head and shoulders pattern here. It bounced off of it, but this kind of looks like we got head and shoulders right here. And if you were to take it, it's not perfect, but if you were to take it at that level, I think what you would see is you would see Bitcoin, if this was at down 3,000, we then go down another 3,000, 1,100 from here. Sorry. So we would go down to, excuse me. We would end up somewhere around here. I mean, the closest thing, this does look like a level right here. So like, that's what I'd be looking for. The crazy thing is, who gives a shit? I mean, if we keep it at 75, great. The next level under that would be something in the like 70K range. I mean, it's hard to say that we're gonna like, this doesn't look great right here, and we're getting a little bit of rejection off of this. Seeing a nice swing down to 75 would feel good. I also feel like it would be a nice cleansing experience because the market is not just supposed to go straight up. This was such a crazy breakout that we just had, over 70K up to 81. I mean, it was insane. So we need some sort of cool off here associated with this. And I would love to see this pull back down somewhere around 75, maybe somewhere in this range would feel just good. One of the things that we've seen, I added more Zcash. I have a lot of Zcash now at this point, but not enough. I'm pissed because I'm like, dude, imagine if when it was at 100, I bought 1,000 of these. Now I only have like 50, I have slightly over 50 of these. And I'm just like, this is not enough. Like, I feel like this needs, I want more. Hyperliquid having a nice pullback also off of its highs there. This chart though is still incredibly, whoa, dude, I don't know why I keep making this mistake with where I click on this. This is just like a pretty solid uptrend, but this is way too, let's go back to the daily on this. I mean, this is retarded. Sorry. Dude, what is going on? This is just a hell of a run. The beauty of all this is it does go through these pullbacks. It's given us multiple opportunities. I mean, people are just talking shit on the timeline when it went down through here. I borderline saw people on X acting like it was dead. Like Hyperliquid was dead. And now the timeline is suddenly bullish again because it went to 80. You can basically reverse trade however bullish the timeline is. Like when it's like dead, you want to be buying. I don't know that we get another, I don't think we get another test down here. But if you look at the 50-week moving average, I've been really liking that one. And I think you could also do like 180-day would be another one, which is definitely higher. I think you could get a pullback here. We had 1, 2 tests. I don't think we get a third, but I think you'll be able to accumulate down back around 70, something like that. I don't know what the right level is here. Yeah, somewhere around 70. I like this. I could see this being retested. ETH. I mean, this chart's been great. It broke out above the 50-week moving average. It's now slightly below. This is the one to keep an eye on. But we broke back above it, which makes it look very good. I think this could have been a test. We originally, July 31st, we had gone up. Oh, sorry, this Ethereum Bitcoin, my bad. We haven't broken above it. We're coming up testing it. Bitcoin, same story. We came up, kissed it, and we're also below the previous high. And it's rejecting off of it. I mean, all that this demonstrated to me is what the bull market ends up looking like. Right now, we have a little bit of an alt season. If you look at the meme coin markets, I'll pull up Deck Screener in a second. But basically, it feels like memes are back. There's a little bit of NFT action. We're seeing the taste of that. And I remember back in 2021, when essentially ETH started going down, but we had this massive NFT bull run for all of 2021. If you go back on ETH, back through to that point in time, let's go back to 2021. ETH ran into, this is where Bored Apes launched, was at this Pico top right here. Dude, it didn't come back until like, and when this happened later in the year, things absolutely freaking sent. But look at this pullback that we had, which was still a bull market at that point in time. You saw ETH go down freaking 60% during that. So that's like, I think I'm feeling a taste of that right now. And it's pretty crazy what we have going on. I wouldn't be surprised. We could still get a leg down, and what's her name ends up being right. What's her name? Leia Halpern or whatever. Who I've never even like viewed as a primary like indicator of things. I tweeted about her though, and then the timeline was like, I think people get pissed. There's a quiet group of people that watch these tweets and view it as though that is real signal in the market. And I don't view her as true signal in the market, but she may end up being right here. And I just think we have, Bitcoin looks good. I mean, Ethereum looks good. This is such an interesting place that we're in. But I've seen us break through and reject, and this could be a rejection. So I'm sort of like questioning where this is at. I'd like to see this play out. If I were doing any trading action, I would borderline almost lean short at the moment, but I'm really just on the sidelines to see where this plays out. And I think this meme coin season that we're having right now is fun. It's interesting. Pump is having is just on an absolute tear right now. I'm seeing the Robinhood equivalent. What's the name of that token, Ray? That is the launch pad. What is it? Pons? Yeah, Pons. Is this the correct one? Yeah. This has absolutely had a massive run. This one is very interesting. I don't know what the market cap is on Pons. Let me just pull that up real quick. 100 million. And you look at Pump Fund, what's their market cap? It's in the billions, no doubt. 2.5 billion. Oh, 5 bill. Okay. And 1.8 bill here. I like this this thesis. My question is like, don't you think that Pump Fund is going to, right now they're adding support for trading. They've had an announcement today that they were adding support for Hyperliquid to trade on the Pump Fund app, but it wasn't launched meme coins on Hyperliquid, which to me feels like where it needs to be. They let you see Robinhood tokens. They don't let you trade Robinhood tokens. Inevitably, if they end up launching that, is Pons, like where does Pons end up sitting in the market is the real question. And are people going to default to pawns. One of the other things that I think about here, which is the distinction between like a FOMO and a pump fund right now. I don't believe FOMO lets you launch tokens, correct, Ray? So they're just letting you trade, which is a massive distinction and really makes a clear positioning difference. And the reality is the trading is where most of the value is. The launching the tokens is not as much. And I think the trading and marketing of these tokens, which is what FOMO has really focused on, is where a lot of the value is generated. And so Pawns, who doesn't have a mobile app, who doesn't have all this infrastructure built out yet, but inevitably probably will, they're kind of like late to the game in the meme coin market. And it's really a matter of weeks before Pump Fund launches support for Robinhood Chain, would be my guess. And they hadn't done that before because they were so Solana native. But I just feel like it's inevitable that this is happening. And that's where we're going to see things. And look, if that's where the market is, that's where they'll head, which is the only bearish thing that I have for Pawns. There's very much a pump my bags sort of feeling around Pawns right now. The biggest one, which I own the token, that's continued to pump. And I shout out to Wizard of Soho, who has just continued to pump it. I mean, boy, it's like him versus the world on the timeline. It's pretty hilarious. His like kind of way of speaking about these things. But I don't know. I don't know where this ends up. Yeah. And suddenly, one of the other ones that I own is NetNet Capital, which the guy got Anon interviewed the other day, and then Ansem wrote his thesis this morning, and it pumped. I don't know. There's a couple of weird feelings and vibes that I have right now around a lot of this stuff, where it's feeling thirsty. It's giving thirsty vibes at the moment around some of these things, and I don't love it. We're seeing art drops happen in the NFT space, dude. If more people if I see an artist come out of nowhere and drop an NFT thing, there was one guy that I sent to Easy today. He seems like a really nice guy. Sabbath.
Did you see the ACK drop today?
I did. I was going
10K. 10K for 0.12 each, sold out immediately. That feels frothy.
Yeah, he sold $3 million worth of this. And it feels, I was going to dunk on this, but then I was like, he's been around, it's harder. He's an ETH native guy. But like, dude, I actually like, to me, I've come to a point where it's sort of like, I have art that I have collected. I have John, who the fuck do I have? Justin Aversano. I have the Damien Hirst painting. I still have the NFT. I have other artists who I've purchased and framed on my wall. It feels, I don't like it. I don't like some of these people. I'm fine with Alpha Centauri, but when I see Sabit and some of these other people, there's really this like, let me pop up just to sell my art real quick. And there's no ongoing value of this thing. You're literally just buying art. And
what about Bold with PFPs? See,
Bold's been around though, dude.
Yeah. It looks like he's delaying it actually. A couple months away. Kind of respect that, as opposed to pushing it out during this 2 week super hyper.
Did someone buy over the board?
I can pull up a thing with the board on it. Something going on here.
Oh, we got a viewer.
Oh, nice. Here we go. Shout out to who took this over.
Sorry, I don't know which screen. I think you were doing this. There you go.
Yeah.
It says right there, Mr. Whatever. Look at your mouse over. What does it say?
Sorry, it's so small, whoever coded this. Mr. Gene Pie.
Okay.
Sorry for the cheap. gotta zoom out to zoom in, and it makes it smaller. Mr. Gene,
Regardless,
shout out.
dude. Regardless, it feels frothy at the moment. I don't know. I want to buy NFTs, but I'd rather buy that. I borderline would buy NFTs from people that have been around through all of this. So yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is,
I mean, I'm on the other side. I don't want to buy NFTs from people who've been around for a while. Their upsides are already capped. You get the new stuff like the stonk brokers coming up that aren't capped by past collections, and they run to 13, 14 Ethereum.
yeah.
I'm not buying NFTs right now to hold them and cherish them. I'm buying NFTs to make money.
Fair enough. I think that's as brutal as it gets, and I'm in the same boat. I just am not yeeting into random NFTs because it just doesn't feel like the juice is there right now. But it could come back, and I hope it does, man. I'm still holding so many fucking NFTs, but there's so many people that are like pump my bags people on the timeline, and I'm just like, after being in this space for years now, it's hardened me to stuff that I would have seen before. I so enthusiastically covered a lot of these NFTs, and now I just don't feel the same way. Look at this one. Who would have bought something like this?
They've recovered a little bit. You're probably only down 50%.
Well, I sold at the bottom, then bought one back at the bottom because that one seemed fairly priced. The offer, I can currently sell it for 0.0861. That's the current bid. And I bought it for 0.099. So I'm not down horribly. That one looks pretty good. I got a couple of ones that are pretty good. I also got the Rec Trador here. But like, you gotta stay on top of these. You gotta watch closely with how these evolve. I own Moonbirds. I own I'm still in this space, man. I got a big old NFT bag, and I don't own, some of the ones that I want to buy back, which I don't own, would be like a mutant or even a Bored Ape, maybe. There's other items that I'm like, okay, I'd be potentially interested in having one of these. What I would love is a Punk again, but I just don't know. Yeah.
Remember how mad you were getting on Solana for the price bots where it drops by like 1 penny every second? I think we're seeing this on Ethereum now. I've been seeing these two are just flipping. They're just undercutting each other by like 0.00001 ETH, and it just takes the collection floor down until someone's like, okay, I'll buy it now.
Yes. I still own, looks like I own some little pudgies. I own a Meebit. I own a Max Payne. I have 2x copy Max Paynes. I own a crypto. Dude, check this. Let me share the screen real quick, dude. This is such a good. Check out this fucking portfolio right here, dude. I like curated this thing, man. And I'm still just holding it, and I love it. Damian Hirst, Max Payne, Lil Pudgies. I got a Meebit. I got Flyfish Club up in New York. I got Justin Aversano, Cryptodes. I got 2 more Justin Aversanos. I got this other dude that I lost money on that I should dump, but I just I love the story there. Crypto Art, I told someone else to buy it. They just lost money. I still own my Sandbox land, lost money on that. Sup Ducks. Adam Bomb Squad, dude. There's just items in here. I got my Gucci ape. Dude, this is like so good. I just feel like this portfolio is like a moment in time. And I just curated this. I got to send my Meebit into this is actually what I should do.
One thing that I have fun doing is sorting it by oldest and just seeing all of the rugs that I had bought when I first got into NFTs and how bad all of that stuff is. Oldest received.
If you want this, look at the so where do you view oldest received? Is that it?
Yeah, I did oldest received.
So this was one I minted on OpenSea when it started. This guy, Crypto, this was when I was researching. I had this guy on my show. It's my ex. She made some NFTs. I have Dream Loops. I remember these guys. They were on-chain music. These are great. I helped this girl out. Yeah, I had a bunch of these things. Hash Demons. Oh my God. Chicken Derby. That's still worth, look at that. Worth $21. Yo, that's sick. I might sell that. Yeah, these are historical artifacts too, man. This is when Easy first came on the first show, Deep Sea Jelly. Yeah, we had a bunch of these, man. The Family Mooks. Hey, we got to call me Mr. Mooks. Dude, these were like OG. This guy, I forget, who's this? Gavin Shapiro. I was a big fan of this guy, but the market didn't give a shit. Indifferent Ducks, people were pissed off. These pumped to like an ETH. That was so insane. This guy, Chi Modu. Dude, I just remember all of these things, man. Invisible MFers. Dude, I love this. I just love all of this. These are like historical. No one wanted to buy any of these Mac. See, this was ACK, but no one wanted to. Like, I didn't do the trade that you had to do on this.
The V2, yeah.
Dude, so many of these things. Rug Radio. I have so many of those PFPs. I mean, yeah, I was just dumping these. But we got a Moonbird, so let's fucking go. I'm going to send that Moonbird to my vault. But anyways, yeah, I'm looking for, I cannot wait for these NFTs to come back. I'm like excited, and I hope that they do, and I hope to make money, and I think that I miss NFTs substantially. But we're just at a moment in time where it feels a little bit excessive at the moment, and I don't feel like the market has really flooded in. And where we're seeing a lot of the action is on these meme coins, on FOMO and Pump Fund, on the mobile apps. That's where a lot of the activity is. And so I think there will be similar, if you look back to like VV Chain at that moment in time, there were a lot of people trading NFTs, but there was no way to get them out. This is where I think OpenSea has an opportunity to really dominate, is making that accessible for people, for them to go trade and for them to buy these things. I genuinely think there's going to be a market for that. So yeah. Anywho. Sorry. So I say we wrap, dude.
Well, got a little nostalgic there.
Yeah. I miss a lot of these things, and I hope that it comes back. Shout out to our audience for joining. Shout out to Alex Finn for coming on. We'll be back on Friday, and I look forward to seeing you guys then. Have a great one. I got to play music. Shout out to Bubble Maps.
Oh.